Good evening. I hope you've had a great Saturday. Coming on a little late tonight. Was with some friends, and so just returned to the house here. But the question I want to tackle comes from my friend Ramesh in Delhi, India. And Ramesh's question was, how can we grow in the Lord during hopeless situations? And so, first of all, I want to give you a couple of scriptures to think about, and then I want to give you some thoughts as well. So, the first scripture that I want to give you comes from Romans 5, starts at 2. Through we've also obtained access by faith in grace in which we stand. Rejoice in hope of the glory of the Lord. Not only that, but we rejoice in our suffering, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who's been given to us. So that's the first passage I want to give. Second one comes from James chapter 1. Starting at verse 2, it says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. Let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." And so with those two passages, I want to bring out this thought for you. So the question was, how do you grow in the Lord in times of hopelessness? And the thing we need to understand is hopelessness really comes about when our expectations are not met. And so what ultimately causes a person to become hopeless is we have this expectation that something in our circumstances change, or that there is going to be a response of some kind to the hardships that we're going through. So I know in my own experience, losing everything 10 years ago, there was an expectation, surely God is not going to leave me in this place for an extended period of time. Surely somebody's going to come along and make a way for me. Surely somebody's going to make a provision for me that changes everything. That was the expectation. And what I found was when that expectation was met the way that I felt it should be, I started to become hopeless. And my situation began to seem hopeless because my expectations were not being met. So, for example, one of those expectations was I turned 4 years old in May of 2010. And I was certain that my circumstances would change by that birth date, that I wouldn't be homeless at age 40. And yet that's exactly what happened. And it didn't just go from age 4, went on to age 41 and a few months beyond that. Well, because of that, there were times that I was very hopeless because expectations had not been met. But really what God was doing was what we just talked about. He was using those trials and adversities to build spiritual muscles, to build muscles of faith, to get my expectations out of the way so that I could really grow and become stronger in depending upon Him, on praying deeper, on spending more time in the Word, being less focused on me and more focused on those around me. And so ultimately, it was a spiritual workout. If you think about going to the gym and you begin to lift the weights, and there comes a point where your muscles begin to burn and they begin to ache and they begin to wear out. And if you've got a coach or a trainer with you, they tell you, come on, you can push, give me 5 more. And you're thinking, man, how am I even going to get 1 more out? And yet somehow, slowly but surely, you're able to get those extras out. And so when you come to the gym that next time, you find that you're stronger, that your endurance is greater, and so you're able to push that weight longer. You're able to do more repetitions with it. Well, the same is true in these situations that seem hopeless, because every day we learn to rely on God a little more. And so as we do that today, tomorrow it becomes a little easier to rely on Him a little more. And as we get through tomorrow, it becomes a little easier to rely on Him days ahead. And as we see Him us in amazing and unique ways, our trust level increases, our character begins to change and transform. And here's what really happens is we become unbreakable. And that's a term I really want you to take to heart. It's not just that you become stronger, but you become unbreakable. You realize, because God is with you, because you are His, and you are in Him, you are able to live in His strength. And so things that would in your own strength destroy you, things in your own strength that would be way too much, somehow you are able to overcome. And it's not because of your strength abilities, but it's because of the very presence of God working in and through your life. So those are some thoughts for you. How do you grow stronger in times of hopelessness? The first thing is you've got to surrender your expectations. You've got to go before God in prayer and say, you know what, I don't have any expectations. I'm going to live one day at a time. And God, whatever today's journey looks like, that's the journey I'm taking. I'm taking it with you. But I have no expectation of the outcome other than you are the one thing that is stable. You are the one thing that is not changing. And so I simply want to be where you are. If you step forward, I will step forward. If you stay still, I will stay still. But I don't want to have an expectation or an outcome in mind. I simply want to follow you and allow you to reveal what the next steps are. I want you to reveal what the resolutions are. I want you to reveal what the solutions and the answers are. So anyway, a few thoughts for you tonight. I hope you have a great night if you're here in America. If you're on the other side of the world, it's already daytime. I hope you're having an amazing day. If there's other topics you'd like me to cover, stick those in the comments. I would love to just hear from you. If there's things I can be praying about for you, certainly reach out to me and I'll be happy to do that as well. So have an amazing day, amazing night, wherever you're at, and I'll talk to you soon.